Hello, my name is Zoey.Mills, and I am the head of reference services at the Charlotte and William Bloomberg Medford Public Library. Now that you have seen the basics about Ancestry Library Edition, I want to take the time to dive a little bit deeper and show you some searching tips and tricks. I want to take the time to show you how to search through census records. As a reminder, the National Archives has a 72-year rule in that census data is released to the public 72 years after the initial collection of information. So, for example, the 1950 census records were released in 2022. When it comes to Ancestry Library Edition, the more information you have, the better. But you want to have a balance because too much information can also lead to no search results. So, I'm going to use my great-grandmother as an example. Her first name was Florence and her married surname was Reese, no relation to the peanut butter company. I know that my great-grandmother once lived in Ridley Park, Pennsylvania, so I will input all of the information that I have available. This first search result seems the most promising because it covers her full name, location, and about the time I knew she was alive. It appears, however, that it is coming up as Florence Roos and not Reese. This here is a perfect example of handwritten census data, which makes it difficult for searching as there are typos or general human errors, so get creative with your search strings. When you click on the image, you can see the actual census record that is handwritten. The name that is searched for appears in green. If we zoom in here, we can see that Elmer Reese, or Roos, is the head of the household who happens to be my great-grandfather. So we were successful in searching for census records for my great-grandparents. Whoops. And you can see here, it does indeed look like Roos, but the name is indeed Reese. Looking further into the census, you can see that Florence was 25 years old at the time of this 1940 census. She was born in Norwood, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and she is a hairdresser. As you can see, not only does the census provide information about your family, but it also sets the scene for the area like ages, professions, and more. Now I'm going to take some time to show you how to search for certificates like birth, marriage, and death certificates on Ancestry Library Edition using my family as an example again. This time I'm going to use my great-grandfather as an example. So I will go back home and click Begin Searching again. And I will input all of the information I have about my great-grandfather. His name was Elmer Reese, and he once lived in Ridley Park, Pennsylvania. Once the results come up, you can see that the most relevant items that come up are draft cards and the census. Because we are specifically looking for a birth certificate, we should use the filters on the left-hand side of the screen. There you will find birth, marriage, and death. By clicking this facet, you filter the results down to only certificates. Once I click that, I can see that the second resource found is my great-grandfather's birth certificate, who happens to share the same birthday as me. If we click on the link and then click the image, we can see the actual birth certificate. Next, I want to show you how to make use of vital records. As mentioned in my previous video, vital records are records that do not have a PDF or image attached to it. They still, however, provide valuable information. Again, we are going to go back home and then click Begin Searching. This time, I'm going to search for my grandmother, who is still alive, so there won't be many records about her. Her first name is Carol and her last name is Anderson, and I know that she lived in Ridley Park, Pennsylvania, and she was born in 1942. Once we click search, you can see the first result is indexed to public records, which is considered a vital record in the Ancestry Library Edition database. If we click on the link, we will see information about my grandmother, such as her birth date and most recent residence. This information could be helpful in providing more search facets that you might not have known. For example, your family's member's address at any given point in their time or their birth date. Let's dive deeper into one of my favorite features of Ancestry Library Edition, yearbooks. Ancestry Library Edition has yearbooks from 1900 to 2016. They are, however, a little tricky to get to. First, hover over the Search tab. Then click Card Catalog. Filter the results down to only pictures. And then within the list, find U.S. School Yearbooks 1900 to 2016 and click to open. Now, there are two distinct ways to search for family members within the yearbook collection. You can search by name or you can search by school name. First, I'm going to show you how to find an individual by searching through their name. So let's look for my mom's yearbook photo. First, I input her name, Deborah, and her maiden name, Anderson, her birth year, and where she lived during her childhood. You can see that there aren't any results that match my mom's information. It did pull up several Deborah Andersons, but none of them are my mom. So let's go back to the search string by clicking the pencil and adjust a few things. Knowing my mom, she rarely goes by Deborah, so let's try Debbie. This is a perfect example of adjusting your search strings to find names and nicknames. If you click to view the record, it will take you to the page the photograph is on. And here you can see my mom at grade 6. Now I want to show you how to search by looking at the school instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to U.S. School Yearbooks. And we're going to try to find my grandmother. On the right-hand side, you will see a dialog box that says Browse this collection. Input the state, city, school name, and year. You can page through the yearbook that is associated with the year you selected. Some older yearbooks, in the case of my grandmother, do not include names of students, so you have to hunt for your relative within the yearbook. So let's see. My grandmother was a junior in 1958. So I'm going to page through the yearbook to try to find the table of contents and find juniors on page 23. So again, we're just paging through, and there we have it. We have the juniors, so let's try to find my grandmother. And there she is. If we zoom in a little bit, here is my grandmother. And that is how you search within U.S. school yearbooks. Finally, I wanted to give you a quick tour of the resources available to you through Ancestry. There are 2 tabs that you should try to make use of whenever you feel stuck in your search: the Learning Center and the Charts and Forms tab. In the Learning Center, you can find research aids such as search tips, census tips, guides for using religious, death, military, or cemetery records. There are also guides for different ethnicities such as African American genealogy and information about finding immigration records. Additionally, there is a map available to help you understand the state your ancestor may have lived in. In the Charts and Forms tab, you will find a plethora of charts and forms you can use to aid your genealogy research. The ancestral chart can help you figure out your family tree backwards, rather than forwards. A research calendar can help you keep track of what is found and when. And the correspondence record helps you keep track of correspondence with family and any research assistance you might have had. The very last thing I want to show you is how to acquire the data that is provided by Ancestry. When you pull up a record that has a document attached to it, you are allowed to download and keep it in your personal collection of artifacts. There are 2 ways to collect the attachments you might come across. First, the easiest way is to directly download the attachment onto your computer or removable drive. To do this, first you have to click the attachment to open it up. Once it loads, in the top right corner you will see Save. Click the drop-down menu and click Save to this computer. It's as simple as that. There is an option to send documents home. By clicking this button, you are telling Ancestry to email you a copy of this document to your email. You only get 1 email every 12 hours. You'll get a URL to a discovery page that has everything you saved. You can save up to 300 documents. And that brings us to the end of the deep dive into Ancestry. My contact information is provided on the screen and in the description below. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out via email or phone. Additionally, I want to take this opportunity to plug one of our wonderful library services. We offer a service called Check Out a Librarian, where you can meet with me for an hour to discuss any technology problems you are having, any research questions like genealogy research, or anything that pertains to the library and our services. If you are interested in this service, please reach out via email or phone to set up an appointment. Thank you so much for watching until the end.